Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua, an orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. It started as a whisper, one of those quiet murmurs swirling around NFL insider circles, but now it's echoing through every locker room and sports talk show. The Miami Dolphins have reportedly pulled off a bombshell trade to acquire none other than Derrick Henry, the bruising All-Pro running back once synonymous with Tennessee Titans football. That's right, the King has a new castle and it's in South Florida. This rumor deal, still unofficial but backed by a growing number of credible league sources, involves the Dolphins sending not just draft capital but two of their own established stars in exchange for Henry. The move, if confirmed, could reshape not only the trajectory of Miami's season, but send ripples across the entire AFC playoff picture. Fans are stunned, analysts are scrambling, and rival teams are recalculating their defensive game plans. And the craziest part, this might be just the beginning of a wild shift in the NFL's power dynamics. But what could possibly drive the Dolphins to part ways with two proven stars for a 30-year-old power back, even one as dominant as Henry? Let's break down this juicy speculation and why it could either be pure genius or a franchise-crippling mistake. Derrick Henry is a name that needs no introduction. At 6'3" inches and over 140 pounds, he's not just a running back, he's a locomotive in cleats. For years, he carried the Titans on his back, sometimes quite literally, with highlight reel runs, stiff arms that went viral, and production numbers that rivaled the greatest in league history. But after back-to-back seasons of heavy usage and a Titans team in clear rebuild mode, there were rumblings this offseason that Tennessee might be open to dealing their franchise cornerstone. Few thought Miami would be in the mix, though. The Dolphins already boasted a dynamic offense led by Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle, with a backfield featuring emerging talents like Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane. Yet, according to multiple sources close to the situation, Miami saw an opportunity to add a punishing playoff-ready presence in the backfield, and they went all in. And here's the kicker: they reportedly gave up two of their own locker room leaders to get him. That's the part that has fans and pundits buzzing. The identity of those two stars, that's where this story gets even spicier. Word around the league is that the Dolphins parted ways with cornerback Xavier Howard and edge rusher Jalen Phillips as part of the blockbuster deal. That's right, to defensive stalwarts, both foundational pieces of the Dolphins' high-flying defense, are allegedly headed to Tennessee in exchange for a running back whose best years might be behind him. The sheer shock of such a move has left fans stunned, with Twitter ablaze and sports talk radio flooded with callers questioning the front office's sanity. Howard, despite battling injuries recently, remains one of the league's premier ball hawks, and Phillips was viewed as a cornerstone pass rusher for years to come. Trading both even for someone as respected as Henry feels too many like robbing Peter to pay Paul. But there's another side to this. Sources within the Dolphins organization say Mike McDaniel and the front office believe this roster was missing a punishing between the tackles runner who could control the clock and wear down defenses in the cold, brutal months of playoff football. Henry, they believe, is the missing piece in their Super Bowl puzzle. From a purely football standpoint, the logic isn't completely wild. Miami's high-octane speed-first defense has at times struggled in short-yardage situations. When the passing game is contained and the big plays aren't clicking, they lack a bruiser who can slam through a defensive line for 3 ugly critical yards. That's where Henry thrives. Even if his breakaway speed isn't what it once was, his sheer physicality still commands respect from every defensive coordinator in the league. Adding that kind of power dimension to a fantasy-oriented offense could force teams to respect the run game like never before, potentially opening up even more space for Hill and Waddle to torch secondaries. And don't forget, Miami plays in the AFC East with cold weather games late in the season. Henry's style is built for that. But this is still a gamble. Age catches up to every back eventually, and running backs tend to hit the wall fast. If Henry's decline comes sooner than expected, the Dolphins may have just traded away two of their defensive anchors for a shadow of what he once was. One major question looming over this potential trade is the financial side of the equation. Derrick Henry isn't cheap, and the Dolphins were already near the top of the league in payroll. Parting with Howard and Phillips might have freed up some cap space, but absorbing Henry's contract, especially if there's guaranteed money still involved, could impact Miami's ability to retain or sign other key contributors in the future. That's why some insiders believe there's another layer to this deal: possible contract restructuring. Whispers suggest Henry may be open to reworking his deal to help his new team stay competitive, especially if he views the Dolphins as legitimate title contenders. After all he's achieved just about everything except a Super Bowl ring, that hunger could be the fuel behind his motivation to finish his career in Miami. But if the numbers don't add up or if Henry demands every cent, the Dolphins could be setting themselves up for long-term roster strain. The balance between winnow and sustainable success has never felt more delicate for this franchise. And what about the locker room chemistry? That's another wild card in this unfolding saga. Xavier Howard was more than just a top corner. He was a vocal leader, a locker room presence, and a player younger defenders looked up to. Jalen Phillips, meanwhile, was widely viewed as a rising superstar with both charisma and elite talent. Trading both in one fell swoop sends a clear message to the team: win now or else. That kind of urgency can motivate, but it can also fracture morale if not handled carefully. Some players may question management's loyalty or fear they could be next. On the other hand, bringing in someone like Henry, respected, hardworking, and playoff tested, could stabilize things quickly, especially if he shows up and delivers from day one. Veteran leadership matters in the NFL, and Henry has it in spades. Still, the emotional toll of losing to well-liked teammates shouldn't be underestimated. Chemistry, as we've seen time and again, can make or break a team's title aspiration. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? There's also the matter of scheme fit. The Dolphins run a fast Wittizoni scheme that favors quick decision-making, acceleration, and horizontal stretching of the field. Henry, by contrast, is a downhill runner who thrives on gap runs and north-south momentum. While he's certainly capable of adapting, and his vision and patience are underrated aspects of his game, it remains to be seen how seamlessly he can slot into Miami's system. Will McDaniel tweak the offense to accommodate Henry's strengths, or will he try to mold Henry into a new type of back? That chess match will be fascinating to watch unfold, especially early in the season. If Henry flourishes, Miami could have the most versatile and dangerous offense in the league. But if the scheme fit is awkward, it could derail the team's rhythm and waste precious time during a season where every game will matter. It's a risky bet, one that could either turn McDaniel into a genius or open him up to heavy criticism. And what of the Titans? While most of the attention is understandably on Miami's bold move, Tennessee's role in this trade is equally intriguing. By letting go of Henry and acquiring two proven defensive stars, the Titans may be signaling a retool rather than a full-blown rebuild. Adding Howard instantly upgrades their secondary, and Phillips gives them a young, explosive pass rusher to build around. That combination could rejuvenate a defense that struggled mightily last year and lacked both leadership and dynamism. It also aligns with recent reports that the Titans want to build around young quarterback Will Levis and take a more balanced defense-first approach. If that's the case, this trade could end up benefiting both teams in the long run. The rare win-win in a league where most blockbusters favor one side heavily. But again, it all hinges on performance. If Howard stays healthy and Phillips keeps rising, Tennessee may look like the big winners here, especially if Henry starts slowing down under the Florida sun. Fan reaction, of course, has been mixed and passionate. Dolphins fans are divided between excitement and anxiety. Social media is split between those celebrating the arrival of a true superstar and those mourning the loss of the beloved defenders. Titans fans, meanwhile, are grappling with the emotional departure of a franchise icon, while cautiously optimistic about the return. Some see it as a necessary evolution, others as a betrayal. That's the emotional complexity of the NFL. Trades are about more than stats and contracts. They're about loyalty, identity, and hope. Henry wasn't just a player in Tennessee. He was the Titans, and now that chapter may be closed. For Miami, this is about chasing greatness. For Tennessee, it's about turning the page. But for fans of both teams, it's about bracing for the future while honoring the past. The NFL is, after all, a league built on moments, and this trade could be one of those moments that defines a decade. In the end, whether this rumored trade becomes official or not, one thing is certain: the Dolphins are swinging big, really big. And in today's NFL, that kind of boldness often separates the contenders from the pretenders, but bold doesn't always mean wise. Derrick Henry is a legendary figure, but time waits for no man, not even one built like a Greek god. If he delivers, the Dolphins could ride his momentum all the way to a Super Bowl. If he falters, they may have mortgaged their future for a fleeting dream. That's the drama that makes football so addictive. Every move is a gamble. Every decision has consequences. And this potential deal, this explosive shakeup of rosters and identities, might just be the boldest gamble we've seen in years. All That's left now is to wait for the official word or the next rumor to swirl. Because in the NFL as in life, nothing stays quiet for long. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.